Let's talk a little bit about conflict and the ways that we escalate conflict. When disagreements go bad, they can lead to hurt feelings and disconnection, and this doesn't feel good. We want to feel connected to our partners. There are 4 traps you can avoid to prevent a disagreement from creating disconnection and hurt. John and Julie Gottman call them the 4 horsemen of the relationship apocalypse. Basically, they are 4 behaviors that we engage in that lead to disconnection and escalation. They are criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. I'll describe what each look like and what you can do instead. As I describe them, notice if you have used them or if it has become part of your fighting repertoire. We all have used them at some point, so no shame. Once we know that we use them, we can take steps to reduce or eliminate their use altogether. This is about you noticing you, not you noticing your partner. It can be really easy to look at some of these horsemen and say, oh, my partner does that. My partner does that. My partner does that. And that may be true, but the intervention is really on your part. If you were to work with a therapist, you could probably learn how to intervene if you notice your partner doing something, how you can change your behavior to de-escalate. But what we're looking at today is when I notice that I'm doing this thing, I can do this thing differently. Okay? Let's start with criticism. This one is very common and sometimes sneaky. Criticism is when we attack our partner's faults as defects of their character or personality. Words like lazy and stupid come to mind. There are some sneakier criticisms, words like always and never. For example, you can never leave the house on time. Those words imply a defect of some sort. You're saying your partner is fundamentally incapable, which most likely they are capable, of this thing. Okay? Contempt is criticism plus scorn. Not only are you criticizing, but you're making yourself better than them. This could look like name calling, direct insults, mocking imitation, eye rolling, public humiliation, and even sarcasm. Sarcasm has jumped into our relationship repertoire thanks to popular TV shows in which when you're witnessing it, it can actually be kind of funny, but if you're experiencing it, it doesn't feel funny at all. Of all of the 4 horsemen that we talk about, contempt in the relationship is the greatest predictor of relationship demise, according to Gottman research. So if you notice that contempt shows up in your relationship and you are the one doing it, you want to pay attention to some of the alternatives that we can use and try very hard to reduce or eliminate contempt in your relationship. Defensiveness very often shows up when criticism is expressed and also with contempt. This seems like a natural response, and it is. If somebody criticizes me, I'm going to naturally get defensive. However, it also perpetuates a negative interaction cycle. And sometimes defensiveness shows up unprovoked. We might interpret things that somebody else says as criticism, even if they were not critical in their language or tone. If defensiveness shows up in this way, it can create a negative interaction, and our partner also doesn't really know why we're being defensive. Defensiveness also has many faces. It may look kind of innocuous, like, yes, but, or it could be cross-complaining, or also known as counter-complaining. If I say, you didn't take out the garbage. Yeah, well, you didn't finish the laundry. It could be excuses. It could be counter-criticism. Yeah, well, you don't either. It could be deflecting, suggesting that the blame actually rests with your partner or some other outside influence. And it can also be aggressively defensive. So this is often very forceful, kind of dominating. No, I did not do that. Stonewalling is when we have become flooded and effectively shut down and results in a lack of listening or engaging. Now, this doesn't have to be the same as flooding, but we have exceeded our capacity to listen and to hear. We're putting up a wall. It looks like no back channels. So these are the those things that we do to say that we're paying attention, those go away. There can also be an avoidance of eye contact, or kind of lights on but nobody's home. Inside, the person might be thinking, can't wait for this to be over. I wish she'd just land her plane. I get it. I was wrong. I'm just going to sit here and hope that this gets over quickly. Okay? So a quick check-in. Do any of those resonate with you? Have you done any of those things or experienced any of those things? Remember, it can be tempting to point out which ones your partner may use, and there is some use in understanding that, but fewer interaction opportunities exist there, so we're going to focus on ourselves for now. Okay? Now that we know the unhelpful ones, let's see what we can do instead. More helpful than criticism is using an I statement. A helpful strategy is called softened startup. I feel about what I need. It's kind of the formula. It's helpful if you limit the use of the word you. It reduces defensiveness. I feel is followed by a feeling word, sad, scared, angry. And words like and that, when followed by feel, are actually expressions of thought or opinion, and they're not true feelings. And they may elicit defensiveness, which we don't want to do. I mean, think about it. I feel that, I feel like are often followed by the word you. I feel that you, I feel like you. Next is the objective observation. What is going on here? What can you see or hear? What would a person looking through your window see or hear in that moment? And then what positive request would you make of your partner, of yourself? Here's an example. I feel frustrated when dishes are left in the sink overnight. Could you please load the dishwasher before you go to bed? The place I used you was in my request. Chances are that even if my child, my neighbor, my friend, my family left dishes in the sink and I had asked them to put them in the dishwasher, I would still feel frustrated. It's actually not exclusive to my partner. Okay. So it's a way of checking in with yourself. Like, what is this thing that's really bothering me? Contempt, we can use the same formula that we had with criticism. So that gentle startup formula, because you want to talk about your experience and not your partner. We also want to build a culture of appreciation and look for ways to appreciate your partner. So soften startup can help in adding that, the mindset of appreciation. Defensiveness can be a tricky one because we often feel justified in it. When our partner says something and we feel the defensiveness rising, consider, is there any aspect of what my partner is saying that I can agree with or accept some responsibility for? So for example, if I say to my partner, why are you late? You were supposed to be here an hour ago. This could land a little critical, right? It could be, depending on the relationship, that could be a total genuine statement. But if my partner is typically late and it's something I often talk to him about or complain about or criticize him for, that's going to sound like criticism. He could say, yes, I'm sorry I'm late. The afternoon didn't go as planned. I could have called to let you know. So he's acknowledging that there is something that he owned there, and it's going to diffuse me. It's going to diffuse me. I'm not going to keep attacking. Whereas if he says, do you have to go on about that again? Gosh, can't you get off my back? Where he's now counter criticizing, right? Then now the spiral starts. Now we start the dance, the criticism, defensiveness tango. So just consider, is there something that maybe you can accept responsibility for? It can be tiny. Okay. Instead of stonewalling, instead of putting up the wall, checking out, not engaging anymore with our partner, I get it, we're done, right? We need to take that as a sign that we need to self-soothe. We need to understand that we need to take a minute. So understand what it feels like to stonewall, to put those walls up, or to be flooded, and ask for a break to soothe yourself if you need to. If you're good, you could just say, hey, hold on a second, I need a minute. And you can soothe yourself in the moment. And if not, step back, then come back to the conversation. And I have 2 videos that talk more about flooding, taking a break, and self-soothing. Okay? Be well. Take care of each other.